The moment that changed everything wasn't a speech, it was that look. A tiny pause. Barely 2 seconds. During a recent public military appearance, Leonor, Princess of Asturias, was smiling with the officers around her, controlled, perfect, professional, until one young cadet leaned slightly closer to say something off camera. And Leonor's entire expression changed for a split second. Not romantic, not dramatic, careful, that's the word, careful. And honestly, I think that one moment explains more about Leonor's life in 2026 than all the polished palace press releases combined. Because people keep asking, who will Leonor marry? But I think the real question is much darker. What if Leonor no longer trusts anyone enough to let them get close? And before somebody says I'm exaggerating, think about the environment she lives in now. Every interaction becomes content. Every smile becomes a theory. Every male friend becomes an exclusive romance rumor within hours online. Imagine trying to build a real emotional connection while millions of strangers are turning your personal life into entertainment. That changes a person, fast, and I don't think enough people realize how much this pressure has intensified in 2026 specifically. While Prince William and Kate Middleton are operating inside a monarchy already stabilized by familiarity, Spain's future queen still feels like an unfinished story. Every move Leonor makes is treated like a clue about the future of the entire crown. That's exhausting, and honestly, I think she knows it now. You can see it, not in what she says, in what she avoids. Now here's the part nobody really wants to say out loud. I don't think Leonor fears heartbreak. I think she fears betrayal. Big difference. Because heartbreak is emotional, betrayal is strategic, and royal life trains you to expect strategic behavior from almost everybody around you. That sounds cynical, I know. But tell me I'm wrong. The moment a future queen dates someone, that person instantly becomes valuable. To the media, to photographers, to political commentators, to social climbers, even to rival institutions. Suddenly a private relationship stops being private. It becomes leverage, and if you're new to Leonor's story, subscribe, I post every day. Because the deeper you go into modern royal life, the more you realize these stories aren't really about romance. They're about survival inside systems built long before social media existed. Now here's my hot take. I think the Spanish monarchy secretly admires Leonor's emotional distance right now. Seriously, I think palace insiders probably see her caution as maturity. But emotionally, it may come with a cost nobody talks about enough. Isolation. And when I compare Leonor to older royal generations, the contrast is honestly fascinating. Look at Princess Diana. Diana trusted emotionally first and strategically later. That openness made the public adore her, but it also made her vulnerable. Leonor seems to be learning the opposite lesson entirely. Observe first, trust slowly, reveal nothing unnecessary. And maybe that's why people suddenly describe her as cold online sometimes. I've seen those comments, but personally, I don't think she's cold at all. I think she's becoming calculated because calculation is safer. That's not the same thing. Actually, let me say something slightly controversial here. Sometimes I wonder if modern royals study internet creators more than politicians now. I'm serious. Someone like Mr. Beast understands audience control, perception management, and brand protection better than many governments do. The difference is, creators can reinvent themselves overnight. Royalty can't. That's why Leonor's situation feels uniquely intense. One wrong relationship doesn't just create gossip, it creates historical consequences. And maybe she already understands that better than people twice her age. You know what really caught my attention recently? It wasn't some dating rumor. It was how disciplined Leonor has become during interactions. Watch closely during official events now. She listens more than she speaks. She reacts carefully, even her laughter feels measured sometimes. And honestly, that's a little sad. Because somewhere underneath the future queen image is still a young woman in her 20s trying to figure out whether anybody around her actually sees her instead of the crown. That thought stayed in my head all day. Imagine sitting at a dinner table wondering whether someone likes you, or the life attached to you. That's psychologically exhausting, and this is where I think public conversation completely misses the point. People keep focusing on, who is Leonor dating? Instead of asking, would Leonor even feel safe dating normally anymore? Huge difference. Because trust changes when your future carries national symbolism. The palace knows this too. That's why I believe they're intentionally shaping Leonor into a figure of discipline first, emotion second. The military training, the carefully structured appearances, The controlled visibility. None of this is accidental. It's branding. But unlike influencers or celebrities, royal branding is supposed to last generations. That pressure is enormous. And here's something I learned watching royal institutions over the years. The more an institution fears instability, the more it rewards emotional restraint. That's why Leonor's reserved image probably makes older royal advisors feel relieved. No scandals. No reckless interviews. No unpredictable romance headlines. No chaos. But there's a hidden danger in that strategy too. If a future queen becomes too emotionally guarded, the public eventually senses distance. People don't just want perfection anymore in 2026. They want authenticity, vulnerability, humanity. That's partly why audiences still obsess over Diana decades later. She felt emotionally real, and I think Leonor understands this tension better than people realize. She knows she must appear relatable, while never becoming vulnerable enough to lose control of the narrative. That's an impossible balancing act. Honestly, I wouldn't want that life for myself. And before someone says, well, she has privilege, yes, of course she does. Massive privilege, wealth, status, protection, but privilege doesn't erase emotional pressure. Sometimes it amplifies it because failure becomes public spectacle. That's the part social media forgets. Now let's talk about why this conversation exploded again this week. I don't think it's random timing. The internet is reacting to a broader shift in how Leonor presents herself lately. She appears more composed, more distant, more institutionally polished than ever before. Almost like the transition from teenager to future monarch suddenly accelerated. And transitions like that always come with sacrifice. Always. Sometimes it's privacy. Sometimes it's freedom. Sometimes it's trust. And maybe Leonor already learned that trusting the wrong person could destabilize more than just her emotions. It could destabilize her image, her family, even public confidence in the monarchy itself. That's terrifying pressure for someone so young. And honestly, I think people underestimate how lonely royal preparation can become. Because the higher someone rises institutionally, the fewer honest relationships they usually have. Everybody filters themselves around power. Everybody. That's human nature. Which means Leonor's biggest challenge in the future may not be diplomacy, speeches, or ceremonies. It may be figuring out who genuinely cares about her without expecting something in return. That's the real battle, not love, trust. And maybe that's why I don't fully buy the fairy tale narratives people try to push onto her. I don't think Leonor is searching for some dramatic prince on a horse romance right now. I think she's searching for emotional safety. That's different, way different. And the more I watch her public evolution, the more I suspect she's becoming emotionally selective to survive what's coming next. Because once she officially becomes queen someday, the walls around her life will probably become even higher. More security, more scrutiny, more performance, more expectations. So maybe what we're seeing now isn't distance for the sake of image. Maybe it's self-protection. Maybe Leonor already discovered that in royal life, the most dangerous thing you can give someone isn't access to the palace. It's access to your real self. And honestly, I think that realization changed her forever.